Hey everybody. Welcome to another Wicked Wilds Campfire Tales. And boy, we got a doozy for you. This is anybody that makes it through this one, they get a ribbon. Joining me as always is Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
Okay.
Jeff, can I ask you a question?
Okay.
Let's say you decide you need to go to the doctor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you're sitting there talking to this doctor, you notice that he's trying to steal things from you. Like he's trying to reach in your backpack and like steal a pen, or like might try to steal your coat, or like if you have your pants off, he might try to walk out with your pants.
Mm-hmm.
How long are you going to keep seeing that doctor?
I mean, is he in my HMO?
Yeah, of course. That's why you're there.
I mean, I don't really got much of a choice.
So you'll put up with him stealing your stuff?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean,
okay, all right, fair enough. Also joining us, Jamie. How you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing okay.
Jamie, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
You love France, right? That's what I hear. You love France.
Sure, I've been there once. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought you loved it. Didn't you want to go back?
I do want to go back. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Hey, say you go back to France, right? And your husband's like, man, I got an awesome deal on a really nice B&B, or is that bed and breakfast? Yeah, bed and breakfast.
B&B, yeah.
In the French countryside.
Okay.
It's gorgeous, it's super cheap. So as you drive up on this, you're like, oh man, this is a cute little B&B. But you look to the left of it, and there is a ramshackled house with large quantities of black smoke coming out of its multiple chimneys. It almost seems like too many chimneys for a house. And there is a smell that many of the locals describe to you as rancid feces.
Oh, come on.
But the B&B comes with a free tour of the Eiffel Tower. You staying? You going?
How close is this shack that stinks?
Just like right across the road.
Do I smell it when I'm in the B&B?
You smelled it 5 miles away when you're driving into the area.
I'm just trying to figure out how much, how much worth I'm getting out of this cute B&B to suffer with the rancid.
I have another thing that might help you decide. The first night you're like laying there, you're like trying to go to bed, big day, flew into France, came to your stinky B&B. And as you lay there, what is this you hear in the distance? The muffled screams of terror and death.
I guess maybe I'll look for a hotel.
Are you going to make it through the first night at least? Because you don't really want to do the night, or?
Oh, what time am I getting there?
Well, I mean, you're like 7 o'clock in the evening. You don't hear the first scream like 2 a.m.
I think we're suffering through it. We're leaving in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you get murdered. Well, hey,
you left me with no choice.
Well, no, you had choices to not drive into the stinky town, but you did. Hey, everybody. Last week, as you know, we talked about House of 1,000 Corpses. So we thought one of the serial killers they talked about in the film is Dr. Satan, but they kind of Americanized him, put him in the America, made him a rootin' tootin' cowboy. We're going to be talking about the real Dr. Satan tonight. Have either one of you heard of the real Dr. Satan?
No, not until you mentioned that there was a real one. Absolutely not.
No. Are either one of you squeamish?
No, I think you know that.
No, I think after all these episodes, I mean,
all right. Well, let's get into this, shall we? The real Dr. Satan was a man named Marcel, and people in France, if you're listening, I almost feel like I purposely, subconsciously pick Campfire Tales where there's words in our languages so I can butcher the shit out of it. I don't mean to do it. It just seems to be becoming a trend. But the real Dr. Satan's name was Marcel Petoit. Petoit.
Petois?
Petois. P-E-T-I-O-T. Petois?
Petoit. It's Petoit.
My good Petoit. Marcel Petoit. He was born in France in 1897. And he, at a very young age, became famous because he was which is kind of embarrassing, but around his town, he was known as a heavy bedwetter until his late teens. And all the locals hated him because he was abusive to their animals.
Oh, that's rough.
So for those of you who follow serial killers, he had 2 of the McDonald triads of a serial killer.
Wait, bedwetting?
Bedwetting's
We're being picked on. Oh, it is?
Bedwetting's one of the triads, yeah. Till late age.
I did not know that.
Jeff, how late did you bedwet?
You learn something new every day.
What's today's date?
The only reason I can think
rubber sheets are surprisingly comfortable.
Well, yeah, but in the early 1900s, I don't think they had rubber sheets.
I don't know. Did they?
I don't know. But all I know is how embarrassing is it that you not only do you piss the bed to your late teens, but apparently it is so saturating and stained, like the stainability of it is crazy that everybody knows you pissed the bed when your mom dries the sheets because you can't get the stain out of it.
Well, plus, I mean, you smell like pee all the time. I mean,
well, that's true too.
I mean, what'd you say, the 1500s? You only bath once
early
every
1900s
month. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
You only bath every once a month or whatever. You know what I mean?
Why do you bath once a month?
Because it's the 1900s.
I don't think they started taking daily baths till at least the 1970s.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh man,
in some parts of the world later than that, right, Eli?
I can neither confirm nor deny. Neither confirm nor deny. He then became very famous in his town because at the age of 11, not famous, infamous, I should say. At the age of 11, he was mad at a school teacher. So he snuck his father's pistol into the school to shoot the ceiling while he was teaching. Apparently, he did it a couple times before they finally took the gun away from him, which seems weird.
Yeah, like he's just like teaching class and he hears a gunshot and he's like, all right, calm down back there. Like, what?
It's weird. And so because that, they put him in prison. 11-year-old, they put him in French prison.
Oh, wow.
But for a short stint, but that started all the rest of his teens. He was either at home bedwetting, in prison, or in a mental institution. And surprisingly spent a large amount of his life in one of the three.
Well, you put an 11-year-old in prison, it's definitely going to send you to the other two, bedwetting or a mental institution.
Well, he was bedwetting before he went to prison.
I know. Yeah, but
hey, look, if you're in prison and your bunkmate is a bedwetter, what do you do? I mean, you can't.
Depends on if he's on top or not.
But either way, your little cell smells like pee.
Yeah, all the time.
I imagine everything smelled like pee in the 1900s.
That's true.
Once again, I mean, is
That's
that
true.
really?
Especially in prison.
Yeah.
Jeff, I get the impression that you would not want to live in the early 1900s.
No, probably not.
No. All right. Well, so that's where he spent the rest of his teenage years, and then when here's the other part of the story. The other reason he was kind of infamous around his town. People hate him. He stole everything all the time, which actually now they don't really use the McDonald triad for serial killers anymore. But the new, they have like 11 points now they use. Kleptomania is one of them. Fun fact for you. But he would still, and not just like anything worth value. Like he might be walking along and like someone might have like they're like, oh, this is my walking stick I just picked out of the woods. He'd steal it. He
just take it right from them.
Son of a bitch.
Take it. He's still from
fall over.
Well, no, like he'd have to lean up against their house or something. But he'd steal from everybody and anyone. He did not care.
I thought he like ran by and just snatched it. And
that would be funnier if like I only steal walking sticks and they're only when people's using them. So World War I came along, and at this point, he really has no prospects where he lives because he's the stinky pea boy who steals.
I believe it's World War.
World War I? Oh, is that how you say one in French?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were like a burp was like slipping out or something.
Yeah.
So World War I come around and World War. I thought that was German. That's ein. Oh, no, I don't know French. World War I comes around and he has no prospects because he's the stinky
and he was covered in urine.
Is that how you say urine?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what
I don't know if you said that right.
Urine.
Oh, is that urine? Are you doing like the pronunciation thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So World War I comes around. No prospect time because he smells like urine. And he's stealing everything. No one likes him. So he decides to volunteer for the French army for World War I. Now, this may shock and surprise you. He spent a large portion in mental institutions and jail because he kept stealing from his fellow soldiers and bedwetting. So they kept doing that. And then finally, like they sent him back to the front lines. They're like, we can't keep doing this, guy. Like, you need to quit stealing stuff. So they're not sure which one he did, but he either shot himself in the foot or stuck his foot near an exploding grenade so he would hurt his foot and would not have to serve anymore, where he got discharged.
How old is he at this point?
Like 19.
Okay. Yeah. I just meant a range of like, so he's almost, he's like an adult kind of.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Young adult.
they heal his foot up. He gets back home.
He's still bedwetting. I'm asking. Sorry. He's still bedwetting.
When he first started the military, and that's kind of where, like, when you look at his biography, they quit talking about the bedwetting. But I have a feeling because he never really lived with anybody after this. So, like, I think no one really knew. Yeah.
Got it.
If I had to guess, probably.
He was still
probably a bedwetter. So you dislike the bedwetting?
No, that's for you.
Oh, thank you.
Thumbs down.
Hey, you're a thumbs down guy.
That's ignorant.
Well, so he gets back home, realizing he can't serve in the military, and he decides he needs to start a career. He decides he wants to be a doctor because he spent enough time in mental institutions that he felt like he already knew enough about medicine that he could become a doctor. Now, do you want to know what the shocking part was? He managed to get his doctor's license in 8 months. He only had to go to med school for 8 months, and then he graduated and was a licensed doctor.
Is everybody really dumb, or was he really smart?
I mean, I feel
he
like
might have been. Like, does it have on record? Is he like really intellectual?
No, but I feel like he had two things going for him. One, to Jeff's point, he keeps bringing up, it was the early 1900s, so I feel like he didn't take that much to become a doctor. And two, World War I's going on, so I imagine like there's not a lot of people around to become doctors, so they're kind of just like, we need doctors out there for the regular folk.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, he had some issues as a doctor as well, because one, he kept stealing from his patients while they were in the room. A lot of these patients just kept coming back, and they just thought it was weird because he never really stole anything of value. Like, he would just steal stuff, like little stuff, nicks knacks from them. They never thought, and then some people that he did steal worth value, they would turn them in. They would, the town would find them, or the law would find them, and then they're just like, okay, never took his license, just kept letting him practice the whole time. Then he started seeing one of his patients had a young teenage girl about the age of 12, and he decided that he wanted to marry her. So he basically, he said they were in love and they eloped. Everyone was like, he kidnapped her and forced her to elope. I'll let you decide which is which. And then after they eloped, they were married for a short stint, and then she disappeared. Her parents were quite upset, and it's like they went to the police. They were out searching for her. They're asking him. He's like, I don't know where she went. I don't know. Maybe she ran off with another fella. When the neighbor, his next door neighbor, went to the police and was like, I saw him in the middle of the night drag what appeared to be a heavy trunk out of his house, load it back into the back of his truck, and drive off into the woods. And I'm pretty sure I saw either hair or like a hand or something hanging out of the truck. The police thought she was making it up because she didn't like him. Flash forward a couple weeks, they find the trunk she describes in the woods with a dismembered body, whose face was marred, so they couldn't see who it was, or couldn't tell who the dead person was. And the police chalked that up to a coincidence and did nothing.
Reasonable.
Yeah, right. Is that a French lizard?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Why is he saying Han, Han, Han?
I mean, don't you speak French? I'm not going to get into it.
I don't speak French.
But it's fine.
All right. Is that a breadstick with it?
Yeah, it's a baguette. It's
a baguette. Oh.
A breadstick?
Beret.
It's like a breadstick.
A baguette, a beret, the Eiffel Tower, and the French
a mustache.
flag.
He has a mustache on him.
Yeah, he does have a mustache.
She's
Yeah.
French.
Yep.
She's got a French mustache.
And it says Han, 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 Han. Han.
That's
Han.
That's what French. That's the sound French lizards make.
I didn't know the lizards lived in France.
I didn't even know where France was. So
isn't that in Thailand. No. Anyways,
Yeah.
so
Close.
they believe that is his first victim. So then he kind of like slows down a little bit and kind of quiet down. And then World War II comes along. And then this is where kind of we get into the crazy stuff. So World War II comes around, and if anybody that follows your history, as you know, the Nazis invaded France and occupied it for quite some time. So he was living in occupied France, Nazis rule, and he was a working person, a doctor. They kind of let him do his thing, and then he started. He met some folks from the French Resistance who was trying to overturn it. And they're like, we're always looking for people who can help sneak out, people who are trying to escape France, or people who we need to sneak out to go to the Allies for messages or whatever. And he was like, oh, I can help you with that. So they would send people to him to sneak out. And he would say, oh, I'm going to sneak you to South America, and then you're going to go up to America. But first, I have to give you the typhoid vaccine. And really what he would do is inject them with cyanide and throw them in the river.
Wow.
All right. That's it? Just that? That would like just inject them and toss them?
Yep. And
All
the weird thing is they believe he did this. They estimate that he did this to between 60 and 160 people before, meanwhile, French resistance fighters, no clue what's going on. The only reason he kind of had to change his tactics is because he was just like throwing them in the river. He wasn't trying to sink them, wasn't trying to do anything. And they just all started washing up on shore. And so the count was like, hey, what's going on here? And like they kind of thought, like, is this the Nazis doing? And he was like, yeah, this is the Nazis. I think I'm going to leave town. And he decided to move out to the country and purchase a house and practice from his home.
Okay.
Now, as when he got to his house, he started building extra fireplaces. And as time went on, the people would see, like the locals in the area would see, like, people going to his house for a doctor appointment, whatever. But they started noticing some weird things about the house. First off, the chimneys was billowing smoke 24/7. And it wasn't just like regular smoke. It was like a thick smoke, like he was burning something, almost like when you overcook bacon.
Okay.
And then they started noticing in the town that there was a stench that you could smell all around, especially when the wind was out. You could smell it clear on the other side of town, that they all described as being a putrid feces smell.
NP.
Right, MP. And like they thought a lot of weird stuff. And then they noticed that like some of the locals who would because like he at this time, like they weren't sure what kind of doctor he was, but like because of the war and what was
Not a
going
good
on,
one, I guess.
yeah. So like then some of the locals started sending some of their people there, like, hey, you need to see a doctor, and then they weren't coming back. And like with all this stuff going on, the French, who hated the Nazis because they were occupying them, they went to the Nazis. They're like, listen, there's something going on with that guy. And they said there's these like chimneys going on and all this stuff. So they sent soldiers there to investigate. The closer they got to the house, the stronger the smell became. And they stood outside and they were yelling for him, and like nothing was coming out. So they decided to just bust into the house and see what was going on. When they got into the house, they found multiple coal stoves burning body parts at full blast. In total, they found 33. Oh, so like they found all the furnaces are full burning people, right? Laying around the house in various barrels and boxes, they found 33 pounds of burnt bones.
33 pounds of burnt bones.
Burnt bones.
Okay.
24 pounds of unburnt body parts.
Oh, they're just laying around
just laying around,
Jesus Christ.
waiting for space in the furnace.
in the furnace.
11 pounds of hair and scalps.
Oh, just separated?
He had them in like boxes, just the hair and scalps in their own box.
Yeah, just take off. Yeah.
And three trash cans full of various human remains. All the sinks and tubs were full of dried blood, where it looked like he'd washed stuff and rinsed stuff in there. He also had what they described as a soundproof room with shackles and a peephole in the door.
Oh, God.
Wow.
The Nazis, who were the biggest pieces of shit in human history, even thought this was too much. Well, while they were doing this, kicking this in, and like I was reading that something like went outside to throw up.
Yeah, of course.
Our buddy Dr. Satan was walking back home and saw this and went, well, I think I'm gonna go the other way, and then took off. So the soldiers don't find him, and they're like, all right, we gotta look for this guy. We have to get him now. Once again, these are the Nazis, the worst people in human history. And they were like, we gotta get this guy. So they started putting flyers up of him to look for him. He, Dr. Satan, managed to make his way to some French resistance fighter they knew. And he basically said, like, hey, the Nazis found out that I'd been helping you guys ship people out here. And now they're saying, like, I murdered people and my house is full of body parts. It's all propaganda. Like, you need to hide me. And they're like,
is this the point when he got his nickname, Dr. Satan, though? Like, because of the house?
He got his name, Dr. Nick Satan, from the flyers that was put out.
Yeah, when they were looking for him. Okay.
Yeah. So he joined the resistance fighters. Well, some of the resistance fighters started noticing this guy is weird. Like, he's a very odd fellow, and he smells weird.
Like
then
dead bodies.
Some of them that had family back in the town, was contacting the town, and some of them were going there to validate the claims. And then they learned very quickly that they were all true. The French freedom fighters, who were fighting the Nazis to push them from France, decided, hold up, truces for an hour. Can you take care of this guy? So on Halloween 1944, they sent him like out on a mission, and he was going through a subway to the subway station when someone pointed out, even though his hair was dyed, he like shaved his face and everything, pointed him out. Whoa, there's Dr. Satan, and the Nazis arrested him. And took him into custody. So they even had a little truce to get rid of him. And then they were questioning him. At first he lied. He said, well, no, you guys are making this up. And then so they started bringing in all the boxes and stuff of body parts and bones. And they're like, what is all these? And then he was like, well, it's not me. Well, then they proceed to find more bodies buried in his house, buried in his yard, and hidden in various cubbies and like crawl spaces in his house. And so then they came and they're like, hey, we're finding more bodies. He's like, yeah, all right. He goes, I killed 19 people.
That's 19?
Well, he said he killed 19.
Okay.
But at the time, and like they end up burying them. So like now, like, and like they didn't bury them in like there was no bombing or anything really with what they did. So like they can't really test this now. But the doctors who at the time who was handling the case actually believe there was over 26 people in that house.
Okay.
But he only claimed 19, and so they executed him. And then Dr. Satan, the story of Dr. Satan ended. That's the real Dr. Satan.
I just tried Googling original Dr. Satan, and all I got were pictures of.
Look at his
the
real
movie.
name. Marcel
Okay.
Pitoit. Pitoit, right, Jeff? Pitoit?
Yes.
Yeah, Marcel
Pitoit.
Pitoit.
A tweet like a tiger.
Yeah, Pitoit.
Wait, what?
Pitoit like a tiger. Let me ask you a question, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jamie looks at it. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think he kept the scalps and hair in a separate box?
Did he suffer from male pattern baldness?
No, he had hair.
He does have hair. I'm seeing pictures of him.
Yeah, he had hair.
Look at him
I
smiling.
mean,
in
really,
this
can this
picture.
whole situation just be summed up by the fact that he was French?
No.
Whoa! Are you saying because he's French, that's why he was a serial killer?
I didn't say because of.
Oh,
It may have been a contributing factor. That's all I'm saying.
so there's a correlation.
Yeah, yeah.
Is what you're saying. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I don't know that much about French people, but I assume that there's probably a lot of serial killers in France, right?
I don't think there's a whole lot of them. There's some, but not as there's more in other places.
Wasn't Jack the Ripper in France?
Nope, that was England.
Yes, England.
I mean,
This
isn't
is-
that kind of the same place?
No, different countries. This
But
is
you
like
can get to them very easily. When I went to Paris, I went to
Yeah, it's
I
they're
went
like
to London
connected,
right from it.
Oh,
You
so
know,
you know Jack the Ripper wasn't from
Take like a
France.
train.
the three suspects who they believe it was are all English.
Oh, well, guess what? They didn't find him, so you don't
Huh?
know for sure.
You got me
Maybe
there.
he was Dr. Satan. Maybe he ran around.
It's possible.
So you're saying Dr. Satan was like France? I keep calling it France. France will be my place where I cut up body parts. England will be a place where I cut women's ovaries out while they're walking on the street.
Yes, and I'm
Mhm.
also saying that without knowing at all the time frame of when.
There's about 100 years difference.
There we go. I knew I was
Yeah,
wrong.
about 100 years.
I think they called another name for Jack the Ripper was Jack the Dripper, right? Because he peed on the victims.
Wait, is he like the bloody harps?
The
just
bloody
peeing?
harps, yeah.
Except for like
he was
Dr. Satan just
related
peed
to them,
himself.
I think.
He didn't pee on people.
Well, I mean,
I guess you don't know if he peed on people.
yeah, you don't know that for sure, do you?
You think maybe that's
There's
why?
a whole lot about this whole story that nobody knows for sure.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
I
It
feel like
leaves,
the
room for
forensics.
speculation.
Yeah, I feel like the forensics at the time were not. They weren't really worried about testing.
Right.
For pee, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
fair
everything
enough.
smelled like pee anyway, you know?
Well, it smelled like rotten poop.
So wait, but rotten poop was a description, but is it just rotting bodies? Like I'm being
Well,
serious. About
so I think it's
I guess there could be feces there
just
too.
from my previous knowledge. As he's burning bodies, I'm assuming since he was just using coal stoves, the fat in a person doesn't burn; it melts. It becomes like grease and
Ew.
runs. So that was
Okay.
probably running out. You have to be careful because that'll catch on fire. So that was probably running out of the stove, and then he had all these boxes filled with body parts. So like the fat was probably putrefying, and that's probably why. Like the putrid poop smell was coming from.
Yeah,
was just
these
all this
body parts are just
putrefaction.
sitting there.
Yeah.
With
Like,
no,
have you ever smelled like bad? Like, did you ever work in a restaurant?
No, I didn't. No.
Jeff, you ever work in a restaurant?
For like 2 months.
Remember the grease dumpsters they would have?
Yeah,
And
like
during-
the grease pit.
and like the
or
old
whatever it
grease
was,
pit,
yeah.
how they smell? Like it'd be 10 times worse than that.
Yeah.
They always smell bad.
Well, I mean, yeah, he had bodies. And I will say, yeah, I'm assuming he did have feces because these people are coming through his house and I doubt he's giving them great accommodations. So,
No, well, no, because
Was this-
he's killing them.
yeah.
Was this
Well,
like,
first he's putting
the-
them with shackles and watching them through people.
That's true.
Is this the plot to Les Mis 2?
I would have liked Les Mis. I think Les Mis would be a lot more interesting if this is the plot.
Ah, you shut your dirty mouth.
Yeah.
Maybe Rob Zombie should make a movie of the real
Remake
Dr.
Les
Satan.
Mis.
You
Yeah.
know what though? I feel like nowadays you couldn't. I don't know if you could do that because Nazis, biggest piece of shit in the world.
Well, we'll change that part.
Oh, so
we don't need them.
You use a different
Just have,
army?
just have the Frenchies
Yeah.
get them.
Oh, okay.
Just have
The,
anybody-
the
yeah,
Frenchies.
Just make him a Nazi. I mean, and just
Oh,
twist it a
so
little bit.
flip and reverse it.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah.
only is he a serial killer, he is a
He's
Nazi,
also
a
a
hidden
Nazi,
Nazi. Okay,
yeah.
okay, all right. Well, I feel like if you're gonna do that, then we'd have to put like Rambo in there to fight him.
What?
Make Rambo the lead detective.
Okay.
Dr. Satan. Yeah. I'm gonna find him.
So really, and this will be the last time I try and keep us in reality for a second. Really, Rob Zombie liked the name Dr. Satan. He was a doctor, and that's about as far as the correlation.
No, because it was his patients.
Well, cutting him up, I guess, and experimenting in a way. But okay,
yeah.
Was this Dr. Satan? Was the real Dr. Satan experimenting or just killing people? Like, did they find any like Frankenstein bodies? Like, did they find anything like put together again?
They don't. Well, one, they never said that. Like, it's like there was speculation that the reason he was separating, because like it was messy and dirty, but like he had boxes where like, okay, here's all my hairs and scalps.
Yeah.
And then he had boxes of legs and then boxes of arms. So like,
he was Frankensteining something.
People speculated that may be what he was like doing or something, but at the time you had war-torn France, like there was constant fighting between the French resistance and the Nazis. And like, so like there was not much of an investigation to figure out. And then when he did get caught, or, when they arrest him, he denied the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then when he finally admitted because he saw it, he did it because he thought he'd get leniency. And he was just like, I killed 19. And they're like, why? Nah, I just did it. So
then remind me, because we know how I feel about the movie, but remind me of the Dr. Satan in the movie's backstory real fast. Does he have one? He just a crazy doctor that experiments, right?
He basically
tried to burn the house down or something, or that
he basically took this story and like Americanized it, like testing patients. He followed the theory of like doing experiments on them. And then like people were saying that there's like, I think the house on fire was a callback to his house because people were saying as much grease was built up and fat that in the main, like I think he had something like 13 coal stoves he had built onto the house to burn stuff that he hadn't blown the house up.
Got it.
Which, even if you're burning people, why do you need that many stoves?
First of all, did he have a huge house?
Trying to start a catering business.
Wait, hold on a minute, Jeff. Are you saying that in the process of being a serial killer, he's like, I could also cater from here?
Yeah. Well, then, no, you said, why would you have that many stoves?
Okay.
What if he was trying to start a catering business?
Jeff, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
You're Dr. Satan, right?
Okay.
So you know what you do with those stoves. You burn your victims, right?
Yeah.
One night, though, are you just really lazy? You're like, I could put a pizza in there.
Well, it would be a French bread pizza, but...
Okay, a French bread pizza. Or about a pie. I don't know. Jamie, you've been to France. What baked goods is French people like? Bread?
Croissants?
Baguette.
Okay.
Like we said baguettes.
So bread. You're like, I could bake some bread in there real quick so I don't have to use
You are the most uncultured son of a bitch I've ever met in my life. What kind of bread comes from France?
Wait, hold on a second.
Gee, I don't know.
French bread?
French bread.
Wait, coming from the guy.
You ever heard of a croissant? You never heard of that?
Coming from the guy on the Japanese Monsters episode, when I asked you, do you know any Japanese monsters? And you named every Japanese brand you knew that weren't monsters, but were brands.
But were Japanese.
Like,
fair enough.
Like Mitsubishi? Like, I don't know.
Mitsubishi. That is correct. Yeah, that's what he did.
I also knew about samurai swords.
And that's right. He did bring up samurai. Oh, and except for he brought Team Ninja, who made Dark Souls, and then very quickly he realized, well, that's a Korean developer, not Japanese.
But ninjas are Japanese, so
he knew about ninjas.
It's a catch-21.
A catch-21.
There used to be a restaurant here called Ninja New York. Unfortunately, it closed during COVID, but it was like very kind of dark. And you sat in like little, so you sat in like little like fake little like hut things with like the door with like the bamboo kind of doors, and they would like jump out and scare you and like give you, and they would dress like ninjas. And like I went for one of my birthdays. Actually. I know I'm a full adult, but I went for one of my birthdays because it's just so kitschy. And
what do they do if they scare you enough you drop your food?
You're like sitting. I think they just like
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, it's like
they had like samurai sword. Like they would do things around the place. It was definitely like cute. It's sad that it closed.
Hear me out.
Yeah.
What if we open a restaurant like that, right? But instead of just like we're all ninjas and everybody's in a hut, how about every booth is something different we've covered on here? So
God.
you have a Dr. Satan house and like he jumps out body parts. You have a ramen, the rye ant, and her big boobs are like hanging over the door and like hitting you while you're eating your food.
Momo? Yeah,
what is she? Moomin.
Mume.
Ramen Mume.
Ramen. So
Ramen-
you're eating ramen.
ramen
No, but you're
mume.
eating ramen.
Ragamume.
Oh,
And
so you eat
mume.
ramen? Oh my god! Even though that's not German. Oh, that's another thing we'll do. Even though like we made,
I
like,
feel like that booth would have to be dairy themed, right? Ragamume.
because of her
I mean,
boobs.
Yeah.
But tar comes out.
But it was
not
tar.
milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Unless you dye it black. Like
What,
dye
milk?
the milk, yeah. So
or
then
just
like
have milk come out of her breasts. You don't have to like. It
Make it
doesn't have
tar?
to be actual tar. I
Okay,
mean,
it can
I
be
think-
dyed black. It'll be dyed black. That's the
No,
compromise.
I mean, it could just be regular milk. I mean,
I guess you're right. You can't
She
drink.
already has 3-foot breasts with iron nipples. I don't think the tar is really what people are focusing on here. Like, you know,
Wait, is our restaurant adult themed? Oh yeah,
I
yes,
feel
it
like
is.
it would
no,
have
you
to
can
be.
have
Yeah,
kids'
no,
birthday
it is.
parties there too.
But you have a lady with no shirt on.
Yeah, that's what
it's
I
legal
mean.
to breastfeed in public. So
But I don't
It
think
is-
others kid, like
It's
not
legal
your
to
kids.
breastfeed. It's not legal
is that in
to-
the statute? I
I
mean,
I guess it would depend where we open our restaurant.
you could have a bunch of kids like them little hamsters at like the little water bottle. Like, nah, nah, nah.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
I don't want to work that night. That Robin Mume.
I don't
is
want
there.
children in this
Mhm.
place. That's all I have to say.
Oh man, no. Oh, we could do
Like a Bigfoot booth.
a Bigfoot booth, and he could be 83 feet tall, driving a little backhoe in there. You know,
He brings the food around on his.
his is
backhoe.
his is vegetarian, obviously.
Oh, good. Okay, that's where
yeah,
I'm going.
he has the vegetarian option. This guy, it's all barbecue and smoked meats,
Of course.
and you see like a pea stain on his pants.
Is that part necessary?
I mean, I feel like it has to be.
Okay.
If he pees himself that much, or like we could do a themed drink for each room. So his could be Dr. Satan's cup full of pee. And it could be like apple
okay.
juice and vodka or something.
I had looked up and now I forgot. You could probably just tell me. How old was he when he was executed? Like his whole lifespan was.
He was like
I saw it
it was 44. Is it 47?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he was. Did you make
No,
that
I
up?
have no idea.
Yeah, I figured it. He was born in.
No, I
he was
got
born
it.
in 97 and was executed in 44.
All I know is
Oh, this says he was executed in 46.
Oh,
Oh, do we have?
Oh no, I'm sorry. You are right. What is this? Why do I see?
Nope. See that?
So what's weird is, you know, what's funny on Wikipedia, like the first thing says his name, which he has like 5 names in his name.
Okay.
Marcel Andre Henry.
Oh yeah, well, his like full name, but I didn't.
Yeah, his full name. No, I'm just saying.
see all that.
But then in the parentheses, it says January 17, 1897 to 25th of May, 1946. But then when you scroll down, it also just says the date was 42 to 44. Like,
Yeah,
What?
because he got like I think they
I'm sorry. That was something else. Sorry. Okay.
they executed him
sorry.
like a month
Yes.
after they caught him.
Age 49, 1946.
49. Yeah,
You are
there it is.
correct. You are
So
correct.
you're only off by 3 years, Jeff. That's a pretty good guess.
all I know is everything I say is as legitimate as everything else on the show. So,
What about even the having
just
children
in general.
suckle the
Just in
teeth
general.
of a
All
corn
right.
demon?
Well, maybe not that.
They
in a
have-
restaurant. That's
They
weird.
have
Why would
his-
you bring that up?
Sorry. They have his motive as financial gain.
He never made any money from it.
I don't think body parts were getting
Because that
anywhere.
was that was a rumor too, but then like he was killing his patients that were coming in. There was no insurance. And like some of the like during wartime, it's not like they had a lot of money or anything. So like he wasn't really making any money. And they said his house was really dirty. I feel like if
Also-
you had money, you wouldn't have a dirty house.
Also, I don't think we're far off in saying he was a Nazi in that most of his victims were Jews.
Well, that's because those were part of the people. the
I
resistance fighters.
understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that, but maybe he had an ulterior motive there.
Oh, he could have.
He's-
Oh, so
you know?
okay, that works for our movie then.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So who
you
we
go.
have? So Jeff, who
Go
do you have play Dr. Satan? Somebody for Sylvester Stallone to fight, because Jamie can't be every part in this movie too.
I don't know. Dr.
I have to be
Satan.
all the dead people or something.
Or the townspeople. We can have you be all the
Yeah.
townspeople,
Townspeople outraged.
and like we're gonna have Rambo be a cop looking for him, right? But it'll be
He's French special forces.
yeah, that's right. And what's French for like the
Oui, oui.
Les Rambo is like Les French? Les Rambo?
I think Lay is.
Yeah, so Les Rambo they
I
call
don't
him.
know. I really don't know.
I don't know what that. adjective pronoun.
The Rambo?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Could just be Rambo.
Okay, we'll make a Rambo, and then we gotta find somebody who who be Dr. Sand.
Johnny
I don't
Depp.
know.
Johnny Depp. I feel he'd be too short.
Yeah.
No, he would play just like
and he'd be like Jack Sparrow.
just
He
like
loves
Edward
to look
Scissorhands.
like but he loves to be a caricature. He's never like a human being.
Yeah.
So,
He'd be like Jack. He'd be like, "Oh, love, I cut your legs off. Me rum."
No, remember him in Tusk? He'll be like a
when
French,
he was the
he'll be
French
like a
detective.
French
Oh, he actually
version
was
of
a
that.
French detective.
Was he French in that? I couldn't
Yeah.
know. Was he? I
Oh,
can remember
French Canadian.
Oh, that's right. He was
I don't know
That's
if they speak French, right?
right. Yeah,
I
think
feel
so.
like this could be the sequel to Titanic. Jack could be the
Dr.
detective.
Satan? Oh.
Mhm.
Jack would be the detective fighting
Mhm.
Dr. Satan.
Yeah, and then he goes
how
on the boat and
how
he's
you-
like, "Well, draw me like your French girls or whatever," he says in that movie.
Oh, so this is the prequel, not the sequel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, prequel.
Oh. So actually,
Prequel to Titanic?
wait, does that mean Rose is Dr. Satan?
No, that's what he was doing while he was in France. What do you?
Oh,
Rose
so
isn't even in this.
Oh,
movie.
so after he captures Dr. Satan, he decides to retire on a
yeah,
boat. Oh,
on a
okay.
boat. Yeah, see the
Okay.
world. Mhm.
All right. And
At the age of 17?
well,
Yeah,
Mhm. It's World War II. There wasn't a lot of people around to take these
That's
jobs.
true. They're young. Yeah,
Yeah.
true. You're right. Yeah.
World War One or World War Two?
Well, he got caught during World War II.
Yeah.
Okay.
He started.
He started in World War One. He made and he didn't have to fight in World War II because he tried to blow his own foot off the grenade, so he wouldn't have to finish World War One.
Do you think one of his feet were in the box with the body parts?
No, I bet you one of his feet was real fucked up looking.
Yeah, of course. If he blew part of it up.
I
Did
bet
he
you,
have a walking stick? Maybe that's why he was stealing walking sticks from people, because his foot was all fucked up.
No, he did that before he went to World War One.
Oh, I couldn't
Even as
remember
a
the
kid.
timeline.
Yeah, that was real Dr. Satan.
That's rude.
Well, I feel like if you're gonna just murder people, throw them in a river or cut them in pieces and cut their scalp off for some weird reason, which I still don't know what the point of that would be if he had hair.
Well,
go
in
against
his
your theory.
Frankensteins, he was picking which hairstyle he likes best.
Mhm.
I mean, back
Oh.
then, they weren't dyeing their hair, so he had to take all these scalps for the time he
It's
wanted
true.
a
He had to keep
brunette or
swapping
a
them out.
redhead. It's
So
like
like a Barbie?
customizing it. Yeah,
a
he's
Barbie
customizing.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Was this guy's last name Mattel?
Mattel?
Mattel.
Or wait, are you saying he may have possibly had a grandchild who started Mattel?
It's possibly. You know what I mean? He's like, I had all these parts laying around the house when I was little, and just put a doll together with it.
That'd been weird if they'd walked to that house. They just saw all these parts sewed together, sitting around a table.
That'd have been, yeah. I mean,
So he never
among
had
other
another.
things would have been weird.
It was just that. It was just that child bride, right? He never had another.
Yeah, that he murdered a couple
yes.
weeks after they got
You
married.
don't know that. Allegedly.
That's true. Even though they did find the trunk with a dismembered body in it. But yeah, allegedly.
But don't worry, he kept her hair and scalp.
I feel like
Yeah.
the French police might have been terrible police during that whole time.
Well, they didn't have DNA testing. So,
Yeah, but
I
it
mean-
was the exact trunk that was described to them.
Yeah,
that
but
he was
that's
carrying.
do you ever hear how bad eyewitness testimony is? I mean, that's
Well, yeah, well, I know I agree, but if the eyewitness testimony 100% matches
matches.
what they said, then
You're right. What
wouldn't
I'm
you
saying
believe
is
that?
negating what. Yeah, but I understood, but it's still just what they saw. I don't know.
True.
Maybe everybody had those trunks back. How many trunks were there in 19?
Probably a lot, 'cause I don't think they had
07.
dressers. I think they just used trunks.
Yeah, but they probably just made them all look the same. Like one design trunk, and then they all just kind
Oh.
of modeled it off that one. So it was like you had a trunk, you all had the same trunk. It's like, is
They're all
that your
brown.
trunk or my trunk?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, they're all brown. Oh, so that's how she got it right, because she just brown trunk. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, there's
Yeah. I
brown
mean,
trunk in every house on the street.
with those brass knobs
Yeah,
and whatever.
All I know is, right, if he is my doctor, I don't think I'd see him, because he was dirty and didn't shower, and I bet you his fingers were all dirty.
Well, that's the thing is, if people were
crusty and
actually
brown.
seeing this man, that's a weird, that's weird, because he could not have been in any way, like you just said, either hygienic or
And he
or-
stole your
or
stuff while he was looking
sane.
at you.
yeah, or sane, or come across as a normal human being in any way, shape, or form.
Well, to Jeff's point, it was early 1900s, so they were just like,
Yeah, they didn't care.
This doctor's this way. I have one doctor that's drunk.
And did anybody who went to see him, did they all die? No, because he was
not when he was like regularly practicing, but like very quickly when he started his own practice in his home.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
With his 13 chimneys and coal ovens that he made his French pizza in.
He had like a mansion, man.
I feel like
mansion of body parts.
The one picture I saw, it looked like a one room kind of bigger house, and he just slapped fucking chimneys on,
like a ranch style.
Yeah, kind of. And he was just slapping chimneys and coal
chimneys on his house. Just more chimneys and more. Just bring me more chimneys.
But he's like, I want to add 11 more coal stoves to this, and they're like, why? And he's like,
I'm cold.
He's like, 2 words: French bread pizza.
French bread pizza.
They're like, sir, that's 3. And he's like, urine.
You could look up his basement, apparently.
Dr. Catering. That's what he was.
Dr. Catering?
Yeah.
Wait, what if that's a real fucked up thing? They stopped him. He was going to start a catering business.
Of people?
Sell human meat.
Like cannibalism?
Well,
yeah, like Sweeney Todd. Maybe he was the original Sweeney Todd.
Was it French?
Sweeney Todd based off of him?
No, I think Sweeney Todd was based off a real English.
Another serial killer?
Yeah. Well, Jack the Ripper, I think he was based off of.
Oh, roughly. Was he?
Yeah. Because he used
I thought we already established that this guy was Jack the Ripper.
But it was 100 years difference. You saying this guy's over 100 years old?
I don't believe your facts, so.
Jack the Ripper was like in the 1850s.
Yeah, and this guy.
Maybe this guy time traveled.
Was in like the 1940s.
1907.
Maybe this guy is continuously our serial killer.
Why are you bringing up? This didn't happen in 1907.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This one had happened.
World War II wasn't in 1907.
I don't know that much about World War II.
No, but he was alive in 1907.
I know even less about World War II.
He was not. He was not.
Yeah, he was a child. So
yeah.
But maybe he just travels.
Maybe he got the Benjamin Button disease
and goes back. Is that backwards? Which one is that?
Yeah, that's when you are born old.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which seems a little painful for the mother. I mean, I'm not.
Well, the baby was still small. It's just it was an old man. Remember? Because
I never saw it.
Because the weird part about that movie was he started as an old man, but he grew tall.
But small. Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah.
Because there's that one scene that always creeps me out where he's wearing those old timey suit shorts and his little flap cap, and he's like, oh man, he's like in his wheelchair, and they push him around. They're like, you want some ice cream? He's like, like, ugh. Why's that old man wearing little suit shorts?
Wait,
I didn't like that movie.
Was he old or was he young at this point?
He was old because he was born old, but young.
Yeah. Oh, okay. He's born old. Yeah. So he was old, but he wasn't big, you're saying. He was small.
No, because he grew big as he de-aged. Fuck Benjamin Button. Fuck this.
Whoa. Wow.
I hate that movie. It's creepy.
Regardless, I've never seen it.
Creepy little face. Don't watch it.
Regardless, like, this guy didn't have Benjamin Button, but
no.
We're just giving him credit for all.
I mean, Jeff has a theory that he's been murdering since 1907 and that he's probably Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, I said he was Jack. I think like I said, he time travels and he's been all our prolific, uncatchable serial killers over time.
Yep. I feel like you smell him coming though.
It changes. He learned to bathe as time has evolved.
Yeah, I mean, he caught up.
Technology.
I don't think he was too concerned about bathing.
You know, in this, it looks like he showed up. It looks like he showed up to court bathed pretty well.
Well, it's probably because they forced him to. They probably hosed him down in the jail cell and deloused him.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, that's the real Dr. Sane.
It is for sure.
Yes. Jamie, do you have anything to tell the fine folks out there in internet land?
No.
Are you when you go back to France, are you going to look for the Dr. Satan house?
Is it still up? There's no way it's still up.
I don't think it's. I think they.
They ripped it down and yeah. But when I go back to France, depending on when it is. I'll find something related.
You should find whatever there's now. Just even if it's someone else's new house, just start digging in their yard.
Yeah, and just stand there and take a picture.
Did you
like,
say
in front
pee
of it.
on it?
Yeah, just pee on it.
And this guy walks out of his house and Jamie's just like squatting, peeing on their
Yeah.
house.
But then I explain why, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, okay." I'm like, "Don't you know that a serial killer, like,
And then they're
murders
like,
people
wow,
here?"
they did not tell me that when I bought this house. And I feel like that's against the law.
They're probably still buried under your house, man.
Like, no
That's what I'm
wonder
gonna
it smells
say.
like rotten poo in here.
Yeah.
Jeff, you got anything you want to tell the fine folks on the internet?
Yeah, if you'd like, you can also listen to myself and Eli on the Lore Masters of the Absurd. Any place you listen to your podcasts, loremastersoftheabsurd.com. We're on Instagram, Lore Masters of the Absurd. We do some other stuff. We're on YouTube, Lore Masters of the Absurd on there as well. We got videos every Monday, and that's when the podcast comes out. So you can check that out as well.
Nice. And also, you have found this, or you've been listening. This is the Wicked Wild. You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast. So you're listening to us on, leave a 5-star review. It is, it's summertime, and you know what they say about summertime? It ain't summer if it ain't 5 stars. That's a saying. I'm pretty sure. Or you get peed on. Do you want Dr. Satan's spirit to come and pee on you? Or give us 5 stars then. It's like one of those chain letters in the 90s or emails.
Mhm.
Like, hey, send this email to, we're like, hey, if you don't 5-star this, Dr. Satan will crawl in your window and pee on you and wipe his crusty, dirty finger under your nose so you always smell putrid poop. So 5 stars. And if it's on Apple Podcasts, give us a review. Tell us why you think he was the one with all those scalps and hair. What his plan was. Was it to make Barbie people, or did he just want to build his own mullet? You tell us.
Or was he Jack the Ripper?
I don't think that was it.
Mm-hmm.
You can also follow us on our website, wickedwild.com. Follow us on Twitter at Wicked Wild We Are. Follow us on Slasher, the horror version of Twitter, Wicked Wild We Are. You can also watch episodes on the YouTubes, on your internets. And I think that is it.
That sounds about right.
Sounds about right. All right, buddy. We'll catch you on next time. And remember, if the air smells like poop, I wouldn't go closer.
That's just good advice in general.
That's good advice in general. Bye, everybody.